and we buy a cheap wine. Sit on the corner and have a holiday. Hide the bottle when the cop goes by. Talk about women and lie. Whoa, my other world is only half a mile away. Ooh, it's just a half a mile away. Billy Joel. Billy Joel. Did I hear Billy Joel was going to tour with Stevie Nicks? That's insane. Why don't the 80s musicians ever, retire? Rock stars never retire. They just die. It's depressing. Hey, Wisani's here, sweetie. Well, BOOZHOO, Wisani. BOOZHOO. How about a big old gold star for Wisani? Big old gold star for first in class, Wisani. James Shagobay is here, sweetie. No way, BOOZHOO, James Shagobay. Shagobay. Silver star for James. Hi, James. How you doing, James? And John Redcorn's pulling in third with a bronze star. And the bronze star goes to... What's that? That's a drum roll. You want a drum roll? What's wrong with a drum? I'm sitting on something weird. And a brown star for John Redcorn. BOOZHOO, John. Oh, yeah. BOOZHOO, John. And Gwen Carley's here. BOOZHOO, Gwen. Mino Onagoshin. Pull up a chair. We're having our Sunday night chat. A Sunday night chat. Oh, wow. Here comes Jessica Wabooz. Well, BOOZHOO, Jessica. Mino Onagoshin. How nice to see you. Old Jesse Rabbit. Rec 213 is here. BOOZHOO, Rec 213. BOOZHOO, wrecked. I think wrecked is wrecked. Jesse says, I'm so glad you're love right now, NANABOOZHOO. I think she means here. Nalani is in the hospital with her ear infection. Oh, no. Nalani's in the hospital with an ear infection. Oh, that sucks. I'll put out some tobacco and we can say a little prayer for Nalani for a quick recovery. Yeah. We'll put out some tobacco. We'll ask the Creator to heal. That's something he does. Nobody wants to ask for the obvious stuff. Hey, please fix my ear, will you? So yeah, you can put out some tobacco and we'll get her back home. Oh, Jesse says live, not love. Yeah. Well, we're love too. Yeah, we're love too. You're on the Love Stream podcast. No. Here on a Sunday night. What is it, Sunday today, sweetie? Anima A Geisha Good. Oops. I got the queued up video in the wrong place. Here we go. Anima A Geisha Good Prayer Day. It's good to pray on Prayer Day. It's good to pray every day. Yeah. Pray all the time, they say. So how fun was it this morning? Teaching Sunday school? Yeah. Guess who became a Sunday school teacher this morning? How many things do I have to do for that church? What do you mean? We filmed the live stream for him. Today I was playing guitar with Uncle Tom. I mean, he's like my cousin, but he was my dad's cousin who was like a brother to him. I feel stupid calling Tom my cousin. Yeah, but I guess that's what he is. But reservation people have screwed up any understanding of what a cousin is. Why do you say that? Because we call everybody our cousins, number one. And usually when you talk to somebody who's from the same tribe or whatever, yeah, you can kind of trace back where the family tree connects, Everybody's like 1 or 2 degrees of separation from each other. Yeah. But anyway, so this morning, so I'm playing guitar with Tommy, and had to learn 4 new tunes for that. And that's really hard to learn guitar songs for a church. Why? Well, because I don't know the hymns very well. I mean, it's easy to learn a song you've heard a million times. He's like, here, why don't you learn how to play this hymn from the 1800s on the acoustic guitar? Well, all right. So then, at the last minute, they go, hey, do you want to take the kids downstairs for the Sunday school? I'm like, what? No, I'm doing 2 things here. But there was nobody there for them. So I said, okay, come on. So I go down there with Kimmy. Yeah. And we sat down in the basement of the church, and we had this little talking circle of little guys. We prayed together, and then I just kind of had a conversation, a little prayer day chat. And, the kids had heard some of the stories. I go, who knows the name of the... who knows who Adam and Eve were? The kid puts his hand up like we're in school. Yeah. And he goes, they're the first 2 people on the earth. I mean, very good. We just started talking, and I had him retell the story. We said a walk through the Adam and Eve story. And then I played a song and a guitar for him, Jesus Loves Me. Yeah. And I don't know. To tell you the truth, it was more fun being in Sunday school than it usually is just sitting in church. I'm going back to the kids' school. On my egg, you're good. And what else is going on here? Oh, I liked what you talked about last night. I was watching the replay. Yeah. And you were talking about there were some things you got on, you were like, is there anything you can't talk about? Or how'd you put that? Is there something you just can't talk about because you're going to cry? Yeah, I can't talk about it. To cry is Maui. Maui Wowie? No. It's not just an island in Hawaii. Is that the name of a Hawaiian? I don't know what Maui is. I think it's a drug. Maui? I don't know what it is. Well, in Ojibwe, it means to cry. And if you want to tell somebody to stop crying, why would you tell someone to stop crying? I don't know, like a baby or something. He would say, Gish koe. Gish koe. Gish koe. Stop your crying. Stop your crying around. It's just an ear infection, Nalia. Hey, don't say that. No, I'm just kidding. I know it hurts and it sucks. Being sick in any way is just the worst because it's so depressing. But you can make it. Sometimes if you don't want to cry, you gotta laugh. Yeah. Papi, to laugh. And to burst out laughing, like we're kind of known to do around here. No, we're not. Yeah, like that. To burst out laughing is bush kapi. Bush kapi. To burst out laughing, bush kapi. And just bapi is just to laugh. Yeah, bapi is the word laugh. But to crack up is bush kapi. So what makes you crack up? Almost anything. Yeah. They say, Nalia, laughter is the best medicine. It's the best mushkiki medicine. It's good medicine. Mino mushkiki. Good medicine. Laughter, even on a biological level, I don't want to say it's scientific level because that's whatever. Yeah. But even in biology, if you can make yourself laugh, watch something, talk to your funny friend, it'll release, I think it's called endorphins. Brain chemicals. It'll make you feel better. It'll cheer you up. And where am I going with this, sweetie? I don't know. So, my problem with laughter. You have a problem with laughter? Well, no, I don't really have a problem with laughter. I was watching our show last night and it was really funny. Really? Yeah. I totally cracked up. Stuff we were talking about, stuff you said, stuff I said, Michael said. It's really funny. But for the life of me, when I want to be funny, I don't know any jokes. You're not good at jokes? No. And by the way, and this is why I bring this up. So this Thursday, we've got to go be officially funny at a designated time. Oh, for the storytellers thing? Yeah. We're doing another live appearance at the Trek North School in Bemidji, Minnesota. At 5:30 this Thursday at Trek North. Across the road from the mall. Such a strange place for a school. Kind of kitty corner from McDonald's. Anyway, we're going to be at the Trek North School. And Natasha and I and Michael are going to tell some stories. But I want to make people laugh. So in a way, I kind of feel like we're doing a stand-up routine. Well, Michael's kind of doing a ventriloquist routine, isn't he? Yeah. That's the other problem. What? Michael's not a very good ventriloquist. Hey. Oh, it's true. Come on, you admit it yourself. Yeah, it's true. So when we come out in live public appearances, Michael comes out on stage with like Natasha or me. And people are like, oh, cool. Here's our local Jeff Dunham guy. And meanwhile, both of our lips are flapping at the same time. You can't do that thing where, like where Jeff Dunham doesn't move his lips, but he can do the little puppet guy. Yeah. But then, so that, we can't rely on that dumb gimmick. So instead, we got to, tell stories that are going to make people laugh. So what's a story we can tell that are going to make people laugh? Oh, let's see. Can't we just retell Steve Martin bits? I could do my stand-up routine from 1984. When I was a teenager, back in the days of the grandfathers. We weren't like the kids nowadays. What do you mean? I had a summer job, a girlfriend, a beat-up secondhand car. No, I didn't. It was my brother's car, but he let me borrow it. And in the summer, one summer, we grew up in a small town, LaPorte. LaPorte has a population of 114, I think. 140. Well, not a lot of people. And I worked in another town just 15 miles away called Walker, Minnesota. And Walker wasn't much bigger. It's a little town too. But Walker, the difference is Walker had a lot of tourism and bars and traffic lights. That was more like a real town. Yeah. But why am I going so far around to start this story? I don't know. I can't do it. Anyway, my brother and his buddy are a couple years older than me, and they were like theater guys. And they decided to put on a dinner theater, what's that called? Where there's like music, skits, comedy. Was it a variety show? A variety show, yeah. We actually did a summer theater dinner variety show at the local tourist trap bar. It was called, I think at the time it was called Fuzzies. Yeah. Now it's I don't even remember what it's called. Benson's, I guess. But for I don't know how many weekends, Fridays and Saturday nights, a bunch of us kids from the area And actually, we recruited a couple of adults to be in, or my brother and Stuart. Got my dad and his buddy to play guitar, do a couple of songs. But then we put on a full-on skit, short skit, a Shakespearean cutting from A Midsummer's Night's Dream called Pyramus and Thisbe. I played the lion, costume and all that. They did a number of like comic, not improv, but little, short. Like, it was kind of like a Mr. Show in a way. Yeah. But I was like the initial host, and I would come out, and I'm 16 years old, and I'd never done any public speaking or any. Well, no, I did some speech. I was a speech kid, so I knew how to give speeches, sort of. But I went out there in this fishing town to do a stand-up routine. I was 16 years old, microphone, stool, the whole spotlight on me, an audience of adults, families, in a bar setting. And I proceeded to do about 15 minutes of straight up, what's it called when you just rip off people's jokes? Plagiarism? Straight up Steve Martin plagiarism. I just plagiarized Steve Martin bits from his album. And some of it didn't even make any sense. Like, I was only 16, but I would talk about, adult stuff and whatever. Yeah, But here's a Steve Martin bit. So this is the intro to Steve Martin. I know we did this the other night, but it's just so stupid and funny. I'm so mad at my mother. She's 102. She calls me up the other day. She says she wants to borrow $10 for some food. I said, hey, I work for a living. So I loan her the money. She calls me back. She says, hey, I can't pay you back. I go, what is this crap? So I'm having her work on my transmission. And if she can't fix that, I'm going to have her haul my barbells up to the attic. The whole thing. I've never understood it. I just love that joke. He would just come out and just be an idiot. And it'd be funny just watching him be stupid. Puppy, laugh. Bushka P is to burst out laughing. That's the best kind of laugh, though. The ones you're not expecting. Yeah, the explosive laugh. An explosive laugh. That's much better than an explosive cry. Have you had an explosive cry? Yeah, I was walking along and I see something. Ah! Ah! No. What makes you cry? Oh, sunshine in my eyes. Shut up. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my... I forget that song. Sunshine in my... The last line is sunshine in my eyes. Oh no, sunshine in my eyes can make me blind. Sunshine almost always gets me high. Yeah, nothing. It never makes him cry. It makes him high. Excuse me, Mr. John Denver. That's not okay, getting high on the sun. You take drugs like every other pop star. Gishkoe. Oh, but then you talked about, that the after cry high. Speaking of getting high. People talk about a runner's high. But I think there's a high. Maybe it's that released endorphins you get after a really good cry. A good justified cry. Not one of these frustrating scare cries. Yeah. Okay, boys. Fellas. As you're older, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, everyone says it's okay to cry. It's not really okay to cry. Why do you say that? Well, because sometimes you got to man up. It's okay to cry when you're sad. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's obvious. Yeah. But I mean, if somebody dies, go ahead and cry. When something that, breaks your heart, that's okay to cry. It's never okay to cry if you're a man when you're afraid. Oh, yeah, okay. That's what I got to tell these kids. Or when you're, it's a tough one. When you get to be like about a sixth grader, you got to real quick get a hold of your tears from physical pain. Because if you're going to join high school football and you're still crying when you get hurt, you're going to get hurt a lot more. Oh, no, really? Yeah. Try to learn how to suck up. Don't cry from pain. Other guys will never allow you to, will look away in disgust. You can't cry if you're scared. You can cry when, your dog dies, when grandma dies. You can cry when, you're missing somebody or whatever. Those are okay. I think that's the only time when men can cry. Okay, what about women? Oh, girls can cry whenever. Ladies, you cry away. There's nothing wrong with that. I grew up with a crier until they invented antidepressants. What? Yeah, my mom. When I was a kid, my mom used to cry a lot. She would cry at McDonald's commercials, Folgers commercials. I remember this was one commercial. I think it was for Folgers coffee. The lady answers the phone. She's like, hello. And she goes, oh, okay. I love you. Bye. And she starts crying. And the husband goes, honey, what's wrong? And she goes, that was Johnny, their son or whatever. He goes, Johnny, what's wrong? Is he okay? He goes, yep. He goes, are the kids okay? He goes, mm-hmm. What? Johnny's okay, the kids are okay. Then why are you crying? And she goes, oh, it was really pretty how she put it. Well, then why did he call? And she goes, just to say, I love you. And then they they both kind of have that love hug, whatever. And she's crying. But it was so sweet. My mom was just bawling watching that commercial. But I remember it never bothered me. I was totally cool with it didn't make me cry because I was a boy. You hear that, guys? But seeing my mom cry, it didn't scare me. So I think girls, it's okay. You can cry whenever you like. That's your prerogative. It's an expression. It's like the whalers we were talking about. There were some women back in the days of the ancestors and the grandfathers. Their spiritual job was to cry. They would carry the grief of the tribe and go out to the outskirts and cry on behalf of the men and the warriors and some of the guys who couldn't cry. And they couldn't cry not because they didn't have a heart, but because it was upsetting to other people. You don't want to see your dad cry. That's the other thing, dudes. Whatever you do, never let your kids see you cry. Because it's scary. Yeah. And it's just, But ladies, cry away. That's your tears will wash away all the grief. Maui, cry. Gish go away. Don't forget E's sound like A's, like in the word Ojibwe. Gish go away. Gish go away. Stop crying. Stop your crying, you crybaby. Shut up. I thought I was going to teach that word too. Crybaby? Oh yeah, here it is. Mawishki is a crybaby. Mawishki. Just crying on and on. No, he's a little. Well, Oshki means new. How does that work? Mawiishki. Is it like the cry of the new person. I bet you that has something to do with it. It's a crybaby. Or maybe ishki just kind of means, ishki. Like your baby. Anyway. You want to take a call? Oh, I can take a call. What line? Line 2. All right. Hello, caller. I wish we had a funner person. Oh, just take it. Okay. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Nanaboozhoo. It's me, Dr. Fauci.
Hello, Dr. Fauci. How nice to see you again.
Did you get your booster shots?
No, I haven't gotten any booster shots. I haven't even gotten a vaccination.
You gotta get your vaccination. You're gonna kill us all.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you get your booster shots, and then you get your booster shots, and then you'll be set.
And then I won't get it?
Well, no, you could still get it.
Oh, but I won't spread it?
Yeah, you can still spread it, and you can still get it. But it's really important you get the vaccination.
Why?
Well, I want to flatten the curve.
I thought you retired.
Yeah, I'm retired, but you better get a vaccination because you're going to kill us all.
I don't want to.
So, what are you talking about?
I don't know. It's talking about crying. Why don't you quit crying around about giving everybody that shot?
You're going to kill us all.
Yeah, never mind. I don't know, sweetie.
Hey, you going to play any music tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
You think I can make what you call it? When you request a song?
Sure. You want to hear a song?
You know, I want to hear that song by Michael Lyons. Didn't he do Small Town?
Yeah, he did. Michael, Dr. Fauci knows about your music. Hey, that's cool. Hey, Dr. Fauci.
Hello, Michael Lyons. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Did you get your booster shot?
No, I never got one.
Well, you got to get your booster shot, or you're not going to be protected.
Well, what does it do?
Well, nothing. Hey, you know, I really like it when you sing John Cougar. You think you can hear a Small Town?
Yeah, sure, we can play a Small Town.
I think that'd be awesome.
Okay. This song is for Dr. Fauci. And it's Michael Lyons. And the song is called Small Town. I was born in a small town, and I live in a small town. I'll probably die in a small town or a small community. All my friends are so small town. My parents live in the same small town. My job is so small town, provides little opportunity. Educated in a small town, taught to fear Jesus in a small town. I used to daydream in this small town, another bored romantic, that's me. Well, I've seen it all in a small town. Had myself a ball in a small town. I met an LA darling, I brought her to this small town. Now she's small town just like me. No, I cannot forget where it is I come from. I cannot forget those who love me. I can be myself here in the small town, and people let me be just what I want to be. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got nothing against the big town. Still hayseed enough to say, look who's in the big town. But my bed's in a small town, and that's good enough for me. Well, I was born in a small town, and I can breathe in a small town. I'll probably die in a small town. That's probably where they'll bury me. Hey, sweetie, you want to send us out? You know it, baby. All right. All right. And that one's for you, Dr. Fauci. Thank you for all your hard work, keeping us safe and healthy all these years.
Well, you know, I always wanted to be a doctor ever since I was a little guy.
Ever since you were a what?
A little guy.
No, you said whittle.
I meant little.
Yeah, go ahead.
And, well, it's been a great honor. You know, first I cured AIDS, and I kept everybody safe from AIDS. And then I cured COVID-19. And so it was time to retire. And I'm just, you know, it was a great honor, and you're welcome.
Okay. Listen, Fauci, I gotta go.
How do you say goodbye in Ojibwe?
You know, we don't really say goodbye. We say, I will see you again. And then if I can find it, here we go. Gigawaba min, minowa. I will see you again.
Well, gigawaba min, minowa, nanaboozhoo, and get your shot.
Nah.
You'll kill us all!
Okay, see ya. He really wants me to get that shot. Well, you know, he's doing what he believes is right. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, speaking of grandparents, I wasn't sure how to get into this today, but Nukomis is grandma. Yeah. And I wouldn't have a show. I wouldn't have anything. But my grandparents are behind a lot, are really responsible for why we even have a show. You know, huh? But I won't get into that just yet. Nukomis. Ni Nukomis would be my grandma. My grandma's name was Leona. But she went to the Flandreau Indian boarding school. And oh, she loved it. She did, didn't she? Yeah. That's one thing that you never see. They never make movies about the Indian kids who loved boarding school. That's true. She loved boarding school. She went there. She was an athlete. She had just a wonderful school experience. She was a good student. She really connected with some of the teachers and whatever. She never liked it when I would talk. She always thought I was talking bad about her school when I would teach kids about boarding schools and the impact on our culture and language. Yeah. But she'd always say, I don't care what you say. I loved boarding school. On the other hand, there was Ni Mishomis. Ni Mishumis, actually. Mishumis. Grandpa. Your grandpa, Guy Mishumis, your grandpa, well, my grandpa anyway, like a lot of our grandpas, he went to boarding school and didn't like it. And he ran away. So Michael Lyons' grandpa is named Aubrey. And he ran away from the Flandreau Indian boarding school back in the day. Now the thing is, Michael's grandpa was 10 years older than his grandmother. This is getting confusing for the kids. Yeah. But so you don't need to know the whole background. This is a story about Michael's grandpa running away from boarding school, and it's called Home. Up next, lovely and talented Natasha. Miigwech, Biz and
I'm gonna
Dawie.
grab the
Thank
guitar.
you for listening.
The song is for my grandfather, Aubrey Lyons, who went to the Flandreau Indian boarding school. I was born in 1913 in the storm of 1913. But then at boarding school, I was nobody's fool. Down at Flandreau, I grew madder every day. That's why I had to run away. 'Cause this is no way to live. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. But on a fateful day, me and my brother Ray, we planned our getaway. If we can make it to them tracks, we won't be coming back. We're gonna hop a train. I thought we got away, but then the cops came and took us back to a leather strap. But I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go. And I remember it still. I saw a whippoorwill out on my windowsill. How could I sit still? So I got right up and I walked right out. The teacher said to me, "Where do you think you're going?" Boy, I said, "I'm going home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Niwakiwe, 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 Niwakiwe."
BOOZHOO! Oh, wow, that's a sad song. That song's gonna make me cry. I wanna go home. Oh, it's pretty out here tonight. OJIBWE. Yeah. So, grandparents. Talking about my grandparents will make me cry. In a good way. I tell a lot of stories about my grandparents. I kind of feel like, and this isn't why I do it, but it seems to be the case. You don't really die. You keep their memory alive. You kind of keep them alive. You keep their spirit with us when you tell stories about your grandparents. I mean, even when they're living, it's good to tell grandparents stories. But yeah. I've noticed, if you ask an Indian person to tell you their, what they're about, their story, say, so what's up with you? They'll start with their grandparents. They'll go, well, my grandma and grandpa were Leona and Aubrey, and blah, blah, blah. And they'll tell the story starting from their grandparents, and then who their parents are, and then finally, you ask somebody else, they're like, oh, well, I was born and blah, blah, blah. But Indian people, they're like, well, I started with my grandparents. I know my grandma didn't make me, per se. She made my dad. But sometimes I feel like my story, my personality, so much of what my life is about, got started with my grandma and grandpa when they were kids in boarding school. So much of the songs we've written and the whole reason why it's important to us to learn the language, and frankly, for the reason we don't know Ojibwe better, all that whole story began with my grandparents when they were kids at boarding school. Because my grandparents went to boarding school, I ended up this way. If it wasn't... This is the weird thing about life, too, sometimes. If it wasn't for the boarding schools, would my grandparents have even... they didn't meet at boarding school, but... I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. I know if not for the boarding schools, we wouldn't have a show because people wouldn't have lost their language and people would remember this history and the culture. But also, it's kind of like, I was thinking about my grandma the other day. And I was lucky enough, I feel like now, to be with Nina Comas. A lot during the last 8 years of her life. I was with her a lot for the first 18 years of my life growing up. And I was always pretty close with them. I'd see them pretty regularly as an adult. But in the last 8 years of her life, I lived with her a little bit. I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids, and I had a job, but I was the only kid who could really, well, it wasn't just I was the only kid who didn't have other stuff, so I couldn't help my grandma. I remember thinking, I'm kind of a failure. I needed my grandma. There was a time when I was sort of homeless and I lived with her. And people were like, oh, good for you, taking care of your grandmother. I'm like, yeah, good for me. It's like, just take care of me. It's either this or I sleep in the streets. But because I wasn't more successful, had a career, and I didn't have a family and all this stuff, I had sort of defaulted. That's just the way things happened. I ended up being able to spend a lot of time with her the last 8 years of her life. And I feel really lucky to have been able to do that. You know, I got to hear a lot of the stories about when she was a little kid. Old ladies, they can't remember anything from a year ago, but they can't forget anything that happened 60 years ago. She had a vivid memory for things that happened before she was 20. And she remembered a lot. She could remember the good old days really well. But her mind started slipping. She couldn't remember like who the president was anymore. She didn't remember anybody's name, you know, on like celebrities. Her mind, you know, she started to slip. But she carried with her all these, she was actually there. And so I could ask her any kind of questions about the old days. And she's like, well, and you'd hear it from the, you know, the perspective of an old lady who was a little girl at the time. She says, well, we were poor, but we didn't mind, you know. Everybody was poor, so it was fine. You know what? My little brother asked my grandpa once what the Great Depression was like. He goes, what depression? He goes, and people are like, what, because they were always poor? But it's like, yeah, kind of, but also because the Great Depression didn't affect Indians living up in the, you know, Chippewa National Forest. My grandpa, you know, when the Depression came, it's not like Indians had stocks that went under. They were self-sufficient. You know, these are fishermen, hunters. They had their own garden. You know, the reservations weren't always totally dependent on federal aid. There was a time, you know, during the so-called Depression, you know, it was the same old, same old. I was also, because I got to know my grandparents really well, I was able to get the perspective of what reservation life was like before the 70s. My grandparents had nothing but good things to say about Bena, Minnesota. Because, Bena was such a wonderful place to live, such a great place to raise a family. When people talk about reservations now, in every movie about reservations, it's always after about 1970. In the 70s, during the, you know, what they call the American Indian movement, this is when the news media and everything, people started finally paying attention. They went, oh, look at these terrible reservations. Look how poor everybody is. Oh, look, there's a drunk guy. You know, like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for bringing your camera crew to our impoverished, depressing reservation. But it wasn't always that way. Before the 70s, and coincidentally, before we got, or I don't know the details, but I got the impression they didn't get a whole lot of assistance, financial assistance, during our grandparents, during like the 50s. You know, they were still just living by their wits and their skills. And yeah, there's tourism and stuff like that. They were salesmen, but Indians really did just survive and thrive without, you know, oh, give me an EBT card. It's like, no, we're going to go ricing. They're like, we have enough rice for the whole year and for every member of our family. You're welcome. You know, they used to crush back in the days. So during the time of the so-called Depression, it was less depressing, you know, in Bena than it is today. Oh, we got casinos now. The Depression's over. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Depression's just begun. John says, my great-grandmother raised me and she would say, go get me a stick. Go get me a stick. Yeah, give me a switch. Some grandmas called them switches. My grandma never, my grandmother never even raised her voice at me. I was a total grandma's girl. I was a grandpa's girl too. I know my grandpa was much more strict to my father's generation. I think when my grandparents were young, they were like those old style parents, you know. But by the time her grandchildren came around, my grandparents, you know, they spoiled us just with love. My grandmother, everything I said, she thought was wonderful and funny and, you know, couldn't get enough of me. I remember I told this story just today, in fact. We went out for lunch after church and we were telling stories about the ancestors. And actually, we were telling stories about crime, okay? Sharing stories of times we had done criminal activity. And I was telling a story about when I was a girl, when I was like 14, me and my friend, we broke into these cabins. We broke into these summer homes. They weren't cabins, for crying out loud. People's homes, fully furnished houses. In LaPorte, there's a lot of homes like around the lakes where people live in the cities or live somewhere else and come up in the summer. But their houses stay empty during the winter. So we were bored one winter. We broke in and stole a bunch of stuff. Went about our business and forgot about it. Well, the spring comes, the people come back, and then the neighborhood's abuzz with, oh, yeah, there are all these house break-ins around the lake. So my grandma's out in her garden, and I go to say hi to her one summer afternoon. I'm 14 years old. And she didn't suspect a thing. There's no way she would have ever in a million years suspected me of being a criminal. But she goes, hey, sweetie, did you hear about, the Andersons got their house broken into? I went, oh, you don't say. Well, that is interesting. And she says, yeah, do you know anything about that? And I was like, nope. I gotta go. And I just left and I went to my friend's house and it was like, gig is up. We gotta come clean. And he goes, what, are you out of your mind? We're not gonna tell people we broke in there. You know how much stuff we stole? I go, my grandma, I can't lie to her. I go, I'm gonna tell her. He goes, all right, hang on, let me destroy the evidence. And I went back to her and she's still in the garden. I go, Grandma, I gotta tell you something. And I didn't even get it out. I couldn't even say I was the one. I just started crying. I'm standing there just crying. She goes, oh, baby, come here. She held me. And I remember crying on her shoulder going, I broke into those cabins, Grandma. And she goes, oh, that's okay, baby. Don't worry. Well, it broke my heart to think I would disappoint her. I was never afraid of her. Except for one thing, I was afraid to disappoint her. I didn't want her to take me off that pedestal. She saw me as a little angel. And, I did have to kind of face up to the crime. The sheriff was called. I didn't do any time. They dropped the charges, but I had to go work for the guy. Pay back some of the stuff. And later that night, my grandpa calls me up. And he goes, I don't care what everybody says. I know you're a good girl. I was like, what is everybody saying? What do you mean? You don't care what everybody says. You know I'm a good girl. But I did appreciate it. Me Mushumis, my grandpa. Anyway, I gotta say a little prayer for Nalia. She's got an ear infection. So let me put out my tobacco. Nalani, I always screw up her name. Let me go back and see how it says. Nalani. Not Nalania. Nalani. Okay. Let me get some tobacco. It's a little pinch of Asema. I'm going to say, BOOZHOO, Gitchimanadu. Hello, Great Spirit. Utapana niwi Asema. Accept my tobacco. Tagawi dukawishin. Ando minaway. I'm going to say, Iji onagoshin. Please help me to speak well this evening. Mikwech ka iji kakina kiku ka iji chikean nungum. Or Iji onagoshin. Thank you for everything that you do tonight. Or this evening. Mikwech ka iji bamadaziyan. Thank you for my life. Dash mikwech ka bizendawieg. And thank you for listening. Gitchimanadu. Taka. Kake. Nalania's ear. Great Spirit, please heal Nalani's ear. She's got an ear infection. And if you can't do that immediately for whatever reason, please just give her some patience and strength and help her to, kind of put up with this bummer of a ear infection. Gitchimanadu, please. Send support to her family. Give them wisdom and intelligence to be good doctors to her or whatever. And give her a speedy recovery. Get well soon. Get well soon. Get well soon. Baby doll. Get well soon. Miigwech. Thank you. Ape Inge. Amen. I try to thank the Great Spirit every day for my health. I'm going to thank him for a lot of stuff, but sometimes I think if you just keep on. So, Nalani, here's my advice too. Pray and ask the Creator. Thank the Creator already, even before your ear gets better. Thank him for healing you. Thank him for giving you a body that can heal. And respond to whatever medicine, And so if you thank him, you can sometimes praying for stuff you want. You don't just say, Dear God, please give me the following things. Number 1, I want a new bike. But instead say thank you for the stuff you want. So say, thank you for healing my body. Thank you for making me so healthy. Thank you for giving me good spirits and bravery through all this. Thank you for giving me patience. Thank you for giving me such good support from my family. Thank you for giving me friends on YouTube. Whatever. That's what I do. Thank them for stuff you want. I know it sounds a little law of attraction-y. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. Oh, you just wish for something and the universe brings it to you. Pretend you already have the thing you want and you will manifest it. Well, that kind of works, I mean, it's not as simple as Oprah Winfrey wants to put it, but just thank God for everything, for the things you want in life. And ask him to get rid of the things you don't. That's okay. All right, I'm just rattling on now. I better go back. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Beep, beep. Beep, beep.
Bonjour.
Hi, sweetie.
Hey, you ready to come home?
Yep. Can you pick me up? You got it. All right, let's see. That's 1 to teleport. Just me. Make it so. Number 1. Yeah. Ta-da! Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much. Did you put out your tobacco? Yep. Did you say a little prayer for Nalani? Yep. Good. And I talked about my grandma and my life of crime. When you broke into those houses? Yeah. La la. Whoa. What's going on here? All right, so what else is going on? Michael, do you want me to tell him about Patreon? Would you mind? Not at all. Hey, everybody, if you'd like to support the show, we have a Patreon link in the description. We also have a PayPal and a GoFundMe. And Michael Lyons has books for sale at Amazon.com, like OJIBWE Words and Phrases. And Dog and Maingan. And the thing I actually thought we were going to talk about tonight, we never didn't get to. Little cutie. Yeah. I kind of feel like I want to tell a bedtime story next time and tell this story. Yeah, you should. Maybe we'll do that. I don't want to make any promises because who knows. Yeah. Okay. You want to add anything else? Oh, that's good. How about you, Rockstar? Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Hey, everybody! Baby, baby! Yeah, yeah, yeah! No. Just want to say, miigwech, gabis, and dawiyeg. Thank you for listening. Dush, miigwech, ganawabieg. And thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. This is NANABOOZHOO. Okay, miigwech. This is Michael Lyons. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Hey, you know what? What's that? We never got to, no time. We didn't have any time. Well, now we do. Okay. This is no time. Miigwech. Now what? Oh, here we go. I got no time, and I don't know why. I got no tribe, and you don't know why. I got no why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today. Today, I don't feel the same way today. Do you really like North Dakota? Wouldn't you rather live now in Minnesota? The days are short and the nights are colder, but she doesn't know because I never told her. I got no time, I don't know why. I got no tribe, you don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today. Today, I don't feel the same way today. Okay.
pistol until you were no longer credible, and I put you up so you could let me down. Maybe it's time to leave this town. I got no time, I don't know why. I got no tribe, you don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today, I don't feel the same way today.